Hello my friends, and this is update on Europa 9. So Europe 9 is World in War and this is day 47. Just wanted to update you about the state of what's going on in this world. Got some insider news from one of my friends on the map, and he is himself in the English Alliance, or I call it Western Alliance or the English speaking alliance, whatever you want to name it. Is led by House 10, which is the black one, and according to my friend, there is not even a single house that is not inside of the war. I'm just going to read what he said. His writing is very good and I really enjoyed reading the message. So there are two big alliances in the world. One of them is the Russians, headed by the House 19, which apparently is only controlling this province in Latvia, and they most probably have merged with House 11 according to him. That's a new development, which is House 11 has already taken over House 19, because if you see the glory race, House 19 is not doing very well glory wise. They are the 6th house in the round, and then just regarding points, House 19 is 1.4 million points, but yeah, that's it, just the glory. They are back in glory, but the points is good. Still they have a lot of points. Then the House 11 alliance is consistent of House 19, House 11, House 2, House 3, House 20, and they get help from House 15, the Scottish, House 14, House 18 is the Polish, and House 5 is the Hungarians, House 16 is the French. A lot has changed since I received the message. A lot of these, like for example, Hungarians have given their lands to House 11 to farm glory. Then we have my friends' allied nations, which is led by House 10, and House 8 is their sister house, meaning they have too many players and they have put some of the players in House 8. And their allies included by House 4, House 7, House 9, House 13, House 17, with the help from House 1, English, and House 6, and House 12. And he tells me the story of what happened on Europe 9. He says it all started with House 10 expansion securing France, which was then occupied by the French, obviously. And House 16 and House 10, House 16 is the French that time, were two major players within France. House 10 had too many members, so they moved some factions into House 8 and then secured it, creating the two sister houses. Their combined efforts overnight helped kick out House 16. At this time, many mini mega houses were forming. House 10 and House 8 got some news that House 16 is going to side with the Russians, so they moved against them. Apparently, that's what it says. This attack on the balance of power wouldn't have gone well for the English-speaking world, so before anything could be put into place, they wiped them out and forced them to exile in Russia. So that's what happened. They lost overnight. Of course, in the early game, you don't have much interdiction and much defensive power, so if someone has ranked up very quickly, they can easily defeat you. That's what happened to them. After this, the biggest players in House 4, House 9, House 10, and House 8, and House 17 all amalgamated some of the best players into House 10 to create one of the bigger super blocks, with the other houses supporting in the background. Fearing an attack on them, the Russians decided to create a defensive alliance, something like a defensive alliance like NATO. An attack on one would be an attack on all, meaning that if one gets attacked, then everybody would defend the attacked. So led by House 19, many houses signed up with the little communication with the English-speaking side to hear their plans. House 5, House 11, House 14, House 15 and 18 all signed up, so in the big defensive alliance had 2, 3, 5, 11, 14, 15, 18, 19 and 20, and they account for sister houses. War was already raging between House 10 and House 16. This brings us to around day 32, meaning 15 days ago, 2 weeks ago. At this point, House 1, House 6 and House 12 were all neutrals. The following day, after the defensive alliance was made, the Russians, using proxy neutral accounts, which is a normal practice in the game, and villages began to harass House 10 and 8 and their allies, but with it being neutral accounts, well-known second accounts of the Russians, meaning alt accounts, we couldn't make a move. It wasn't until House 19 in color attacked a House 10 member, then they retaliated, meaning things got escalated, and then House 19 player attacked a House 10 player. Acting in self-defense, House 19 then declared war upon House 10, calling in all the defensive partners, claiming it was House 10 who made the move first, which really doesn't matter. Apparently they were headed for collision in the end. House 16, already at war, decided to stay at war, putting it to 10 versus 7 in terms of houses, not being tricked by these. The last 3 houses decided to enter the war on House 10 sides. This is the word you see before you today. That's what he says. End of this story. I can see that now the developments on the map. There's already a House 10 bombing House 11 here. So what's going on is that the map developments here was, these are very good glory farms. Smaller countries and smaller countries are better for making glory. Large countries, like for example this part of Poland, is very difficult to maintain. Later on in the game it will be even more difficult to maintain. Smaller countries are easier to maintain. You can secure it with a few villages and you can lock a parish. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a like, some thumbs up, and keep me updated about the game, because I'm not in any alliance. I cannot see the developments. I solely rely on your information. Thanks for watching, and until the next time.